Hello animation students, welcome back. So this is going to be your first deep dive into Illustrator. All right, before we begin, I want to just tell you that take your time, again, when we're working through these lessons, and hit pause when you need to, rewind, watch it again. Just take it in. This is practice. Hopefully it's not too difficult. And again, if you miss something, just go back. It's a video. It'll always be there. So let's go ahead and start this. The very first thing we need to do is we need to open Animate. For most of us who are here the first day, Animate's going to be already in our toolbar. I asked you to move it over here so we can always get to there, but there are some of you that were added to the class later. So we're going to hit the little rocket ship, the launch pad, and you're going to see all of these icons scattered everywhere. I organized them. Yours are not going to look like this. So you're going to hunt down this particular Adobe Illustrator 2021. It has the AI in orange, and I think there's a brown background. I'm colorblind, so that's something that you're just going to have to trust me on, right? Or take my word for it. Maybe something different, I don't know. So here we go. Once you go ahead and click that, and it's going to basically open Adobe Illustrator, right? And so Adobe Illustrator, it may do something different for you. If you haven't done this yet, and it's your first time opening Illustrator, it's going to ask you to authenticate. It's okay. You're going to use your login at birdvilleschools.net, and then you're going to put in your password. It's going to take you to the internet. And once you're in the internet, it's going to ask you to log in again, and it's going to ask you if it's enterprise or if it's like a personal thing. You're going to go to enterprise. And once you click on enterprise, it's going to go through your Google credentials, and it's going to authorize the software, and it's going to say you're all set. That just means now you can use the software. Adobe has a certain license thing. For the rest of you, bear with me. So you should take that step. Again, if you need to rewind this to understand what I just said, as you're opening it, go ahead and rewind it. So what you need to do is enter your credentials, your Birdville credentials, so that Adobe Animate can work on your particular machine. If you're listening to this and somebody else opened, you can ask for help. And if you're watching this and you're seeing somebody struggle, reach out a hand so you can help them open up Adobe Animate. Again, you're at your own pace right now. Just watch this. So what are we going to do for our first lesson? All right, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do for our first lesson. All right, we are going to create a little sign. This one right here. Toppings galore, ice cream bar. That's what we're going to be creating through the course of these lessons. You're going to learn how to use Illustrator by working on this project. After we create this Toppings Galore ice cream bar, you're going to have to create your own original little drawing with the tools that I'm going to show you. This looks pretty cool. Looks like clip art. Guess what? We use this in animation. Imagine we show this and it moves back and forth, and then somebody taking a chunk out of that ice cream, right? But you don't actually see the person's mouth. You hear like a, and then it's just a big chunk missing from the ice cream, right? Kind of cool, right? We can do that in Animate, but that comes later. We have to create the elements before we put them in Animate so we can actually animate them, right? So these aren't our characters yet. This is us playing with the program. So before we start, I want to also let you know that there are three big areas that you need to understand where we are working in. We're working on three areas. On the left-hand side, we have our tool panel. Okay, here's our tool panel. And if you just hover over the tools, it's going to give you these little selections, right? These little areas that you're going to, or descriptors, I'm sorry. They're going to be describing what each tool is. Right? For example, here's the rectangle tool. Here is the pen tool. Here is the selection tool, right? Which helps you select things. Eraser tool. You don't have to memorize them yet, right? You just know that all our tools that you use to manipulate, create, or move, or do things to your artboard, they're all located over here on the left-hand side. The second place that you have to memorize or understand, you don't have to memorize because you'll be working in it, is the artboard. This is the artboard, okay? In Animate, it's called the stage. We'll get into that when we get to Animate. But this is the artboard. This is basically our canvas. It's what we're going to be using. In Photoshop, it is called canvas, right? But in Illustrator, it's called the artboard. And the artboard is where all of your creations come to life, right? everything that you create. Now, over here in this gray area, think of that as your desk, right? If you're using an actual piece of paper, right? Think of the paper as your artboard, right? And then the gray area is the desk that you set it on top of, right? If anything you put over here is not going to be printed, it's not going to be seen when it's not going to be outputted in the final section, right? All it's going to be showing is what's in this center artboard. You with me? Good. So let's continue. The third and final part is going to be the properties panel, and that's to the far right. I'm going to show you over here, right? So again, here's the artboard, and I'm clicking so it can give you, here's the tool panel, tool panel on the left-hand side. The artboard is here in the center. It's all the white area. And over here on the right is our properties panel. And the properties panel tells you everything about whatever you click on. So I'm going to click on this scoop of ice cream. So the property panel is going to tell me everything about the scoop of ice cream, how big the scoop of ice cream is, what color the scoop of ice cream is. You click on just the scoop, right? The fill, all of those different things, right? If I click on the toppings galore, the font, it's going to tell me it's black, right? There's no stroke, right? It's going to basically, and you'll know what the stroke is in a minute. And then what the location is on the artboard. It's going to basically give me everything, all the properties of what I click on here. So it tells me, hey, this is what this is all about. It gives me all of the gossip, right? Or the information I need about that particular item that I clicked on. So those are the three areas that you have to be familiar with: the toolbar, the artboard, and the properties panel. Don't worry about these other things like layers and libraries. We will get there eventually. So that is what we're going to be creating. So now the next step is what we're going to do here. I'm going to close this out, and it takes us to this window. You may be here, you may be not, right? Maybe not. You may be here, or you might be somewhere else, right? And with somewhere else, I mean, go up here, File, New, and this is probably the window where you're at, right? A document window. If you're, this is where you need to be. I'm gonna close this again. So hit File, New, and it basically brings up the new document window, which actually asks you, let's start something new. So up here, you're going to see saved, mobile, web, print, video and film, art and illustration. They're all here, and they light up as I hover over them. We're going to be doing a letter. We're actually going to need a postcard, but we need the letter part. And so we're actually going to, after we finish our little ice cream cone and our little sign, we're going to print it out on the big printer, right? So we're going to click print, because this is where you set everything up for the final. So we're not going to send it to Instagram. We're not going to post it. You're not going to send it to your phone. Well, I guess you could. But the end product that we're going to look for in this particular case is we're going to print it out on the big printer. So we're going to hit print so it can get everything ready. The color's ready. It can know that that's where we're going. We're going to click letter, right? Because we're actually going to work with a letter-sized sheet, right? And then we're going to come all the way over here, all the way where it says preset details. We're going to highlight this, and we're going to call this, all right, follow along with me, ice cream logo, right? And it's all going to be one word, no spaces, right? Adobe doesn't like spaces. So it's going to be capital I-C-E, cream, capital C-R-E-A-M, and then logo, L-O-G-O. All right. So that's the preset details. We're going to change that in a second. Next, this is the size on points. But we really don't work in points. We work in inches, right? If you want to work in feet or feet in inches, that's if we're creating a big banner. We're going to hang out in front of the gym, but we're not going to do that. We're actually going to work in inches. So we're going to click inches right here. And it turns it to 8.5 by 11, which is like this. Okay, so the width is 8.5 inches and the length is 11, but I don't want that, right? I want landscape. So if you come over here, right, and there's a little landscape guy, you just click on that and now it switches. So it just switched. So the width is 11 inches and the height is 8.5. Pretty cool, huh? So that's how we set up all the ice cream logo. That's how it's all ready to go. We are done kind of getting our basics and setting up our first project. Then you're gonna hit create. Boom. This is our blank space, our canvas. This is where we start our big exploration. So let's start drawing. Let's get to the meat of the thing. Let's get to where everybody wants to go. Everybody's excited. But before we do a move, we have to do one of the most important steps that you have to do repeatedly when you're working, and that is to save your work. You have to save your work because you want to be able to retrieve it and not have to start it all over again. So all the work that we did today, we don't want to lose it. All the work we do every day, we don't want to lose it. Unlike the Google Docs, this doesn't have infinite saves. It does have some that'll rescue you, but it doesn't have infinite amount. So we have to do the proper procedure and save it. So the way we do that is we just go ahead and come over here, File, Save As, boom. Where do we save it? Oh, we have a little animation dialog over here. Click this little animation, and then, let me go ahead and cancel this. So I want to start it again because I went fast. File, Save As, and then Animation, click on Illustrator, right? And then open up your lesson. Okay, we'll put it in Lessons, right? So just right there where it says ice cream logo, Save As, let me go ahead and go in here, Lessons, right? Lessons 00, right? And we're going to call it ice cream logo AI. I already have one, so you can just hit save. So we're going back again, Animation, Illustrator, open up your lessons, and then Lessons 00, ice cream logo AI, hit save. And one already exists for me. I'm going to replace it. You don't have to because you don't have one yet. Now we're going to go ahead and, this is the default. We won't do anything here. Let's just hit OK. Now we've saved it. If you look up here on the left-hand side, it says ice cream logo AI, and we're good to go. All right. At any time, go back, rewind, and capture that. So don't feel like you're being lost. Rewind is your best friend. Pause is another best friend. Before you freak out a little bit, if you ever feel like I'm moving too fast, you have that pause button. Click it. I'll be right here when you press it, play again. I'll be right here. So you have that advantage. Now we're going to continue. Now let's go ahead and we've already saved. We've created a new project. We've done all that cool stuff. All right. And when you do your project at the end of this, I'm not going to show you how to open a new project. You should already know how to do that, right? Because I just showed you. So let's go ahead and continue. So what happens if I'm working and I lose my property? I accidentally erase my properties, my libraries. Let's say I lose everything, right? And let's see if all of this stuff, I can't find my tools. Where's my tools, Mr. Wattis? Where's my tools? Don't freak out. The easiest way to get everything back is going to be to go to Window, Workspace, Essentials. But it doesn't show up. Window, Workspace, Reset Essentials. When you reset Essentials, it basically is like go back to the way it originally looked. Remember, undo won't undo that. It'll undo your work, but it won't undo the things that you move. Only Reset Essentials will bring everything back the way it originally is. How cool is that, right? Everything is all ready to go. Back to where we had it. If you ever lose your tools, just reset Essentials and you'll be fine. Again, that's Window, Workspace, and Reset Essentials, and you'll be super cool, fine, back where you started. So don't worry about if you lose something. Always remember that. All right. The next thing we want to do is we want to fit our artboard in the right spot. Okay. We want to fit it so it actually fills up the window. So we're going to go to View, right? And then we're going to go to Fit Artboard in Window. So again, View, Fit Artboard in Window, right there. And it basically fills up all the space that's there. So now we have all the real estate there that we can use for our art. Okay, so we got that set up. Let's do this again. Let's practice. Command S. Command S is save. So now we'll always start from here. Command S is save. Now we're going to move around. Now we're going to go to our oval tool. Let's make the scoops of ice cream. Yes, it is time for us to make the scoops of ice cream. And ice cream, last time that I've seen it, they scoop it up and it kind of looks like a ball. So let's go with the circle tool. So if you're coming over here, right over here, we're going to see the rectangle tool. Now, when it has a little tiny triangle, and I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to try to zoom it in. There's a little tiny triangle on the lower right hand side. There's a bunch of these tools that have it. That means that there's hidden tools underneath. And to get to those, all you have to do is just click, and we're going to use the rectangle tool, click and hold. And then it'll reveal all of the hidden tools that are underneath that. And usually they're related. So this is the rectangle tool. So it's kind of like the shapes section, right? They're all shapes. There's the ellipse tool, polygon tool, star tool, and line segment tool. Now you're saying to yourself, where's the circle tool, Mr. Juarez? Well, let me just tell you. The circle is an ellipse, right? So to do that is you're scrolling, and I'm holding down, I'm still holding down the left click, right? I'm holding it down. That's how am I able to walk through this, right? I'm holding it down, and I'm going to hover over ellipse. I'm going to let it go. Now the shape in the toolbar has changed to the ellipse. And yes, ellipse is a circle. So here we go. So we're going to make circles. We can make lots of circles, and you can practice and hit pause and practice making circles. Oh, there's one circle. What's a kind of ellipse, but it's not a true circle. How is it going to be a perfect circle? I don't know. Wait a minute. That's almost perfect, right? So there's lots. So this ellipse tool is freeform. You're going to have to practice with it to get perfect circles. Some of you are good at this and can make a perfect circle, but for the rest of us, me included, I want to make a perfect circle. You got to hold down Shift, right? And what I'm doing here is I'm just clicking and dragging, clicking and dragging, clicking and dragging, moving it, clicking and dragging. Play with it, right? Just so you can get comfortable with it. I'm not in any rush. Hit pause, right? Today's not going to be our super hard lesson. The better you get this, the easier of time you're going to have when you're creating stuff. So you notice again that the circles aren't perfect by clicking and dragging. I'm going to hold down Shift key, right? And I'm going to click and drag the circle. Now guess what? That's a perfect circle. I'm still holding down the Shift key with my other hand. I'm going to click and drag again. Look at all these super perfect circles. When I click and drag, the Shift key prevents it from going all wonky, right? So that's what you're going to want. I'm hitting Control Z just to get rid of all the circles, because I'm going to want a specific size circle. So let me see on my notes. All right. On here, I want to basically have a circle that's at least 1.5 inches tall. So I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm going to click and drag. Click and drag, and you see the little gray box there. I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but in your screen you should see this little gray box that says W and H, and my W right now says 0.64 and 0.64 on height. Okay, that's how big the circle is, right? The ellipse or the ice cream, right? The scoop of ice cream. So I want it to be at least actually exactly 1.5 inches. Or it could be close to 1.5. Right? There it is, 1.5. And I'll let go. Perfect. A 1.5 circle, right? Diameter circle. So cool. The height is 1.5. That's where you're at. You're good. You're following me. You're doing great. If you're here, let's continue. What we're going to do, it's all selected. You should see this blue bounding box around here. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to edit up here on the upper left-hand corner. You're going to edit and you're going to copy this, right? You're going to copy this circle. Now, some of you smart people are going to hit Command C, and that's awesome. But this next step, you're still going to have to go up here to edit, and you're going to go to edit, and you're going to paste in place, because we have a weird combination for that shortcut. But we're going to paste in place. When you paste in place, you're going to think to yourself, nothing happened, but it did happen. It pasted it exactly where it copied it, so it looks like the same thing. And the only thing that we're going to do here is we're going to hover over this little blue dot. It's a crosshair right now. Looks like a cross. But when you put it on the little blue dot, it's going to be turned into a triangle. It's going to have this little bounding box, this little square with these little dots on the edges. And when you see that, you're going to hold down Shift again, click that center blue dot, and you're going to move it over, right? Almost, it's going to overlap like two moons. Okay. And then when it looks kind of like that, you're going to let it go. So now we have 2 scoops of ice cream. Very cool. They don't look like ice cream yet, but they will. We're going to work it. We're going to tweak it out. We're going to get there. All right. So we got those 2 down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at this upper right corner because, no two scoops of ice cream are ever alike. We want to get it big. So we're going to make it larger. So if you hover around the upper right-hand corner, you're going to get either the two arrows that turn the circle, which I don't know why you want to turn a circle. Turning a square would be cool, but circle would just be another circle. You're going to get these two arrows, one going they're both going diagonally, right? And when you get that, hold down Shift again. Shift is going to be a good friend. And you're going to click that, and you're going to basically drag it to where it's bigger. And there's that box again, the gray box with the width and the height. And this time we want to make this one a big one, so we're going to make the height 2.1 inches. Okay. And if it gets a little difficult, you can do 2.1 something, right? No big deal. Everybody's unique creation is going to be unique, right? So now we have one big scoop of ice cream and one small scoop of ice cream. And they're both right there in the center, right? So we want to still create something else, right? We want to basically create another, I guess, scoop. We would call it a scoop, another circle for the scoop, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to, since it's already there, let's do copy with Command C, okay? Or you can go up here if you want, Command V, right? Or copy it over here, Command C. Don't do Command V yet, okay? And basically, you can just go ahead and this time, instead of pasting in place, let's go ahead and just hit Command V. Just paste it. Ooh, it threw it. But wait a minute, Mr. Waters, that's not the right size. You're right. It's not the right size. Let me go ahead and undo this. Okay. Let's click that and make sure. Let's click the center dot here on this big one. Now let's hit Command C. Okay, I had to undo that one. And now we'll do Command V. Ah, that's right. That's the size we were looking for, right? We want the big one. We don't want a smaller scoop. Who gets filled on that little baby scoop, right? So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and come up over here. Let me talk to you about this tool a second. This is the selection tool. The only thing it really does is move things around, and it chooses something. It's like a pointer. Think of it as your finger. It actually moves things around the screen, right? And it clicks on things. So that's a really important tool, which is why they put it at the very top, because you're going to see that tool in Photoshop if you take Photoshop, and you're going to see that tool in Animate. All right, that's going to be a big one too. And what it does, it's a selection tool. It's a very important tool because it's kind of like your fingers or your finger, and it moves things around. In this case, we're going to select that tool, right? Selection tool. And if you notice, if we're using the ellipse tool, it stays highlighted, right? Or shadowed, however you want to look at it. And if you select the selection tool, that is highlighted. So that's how you know what tool you're in. If you look at this left-hand side, you're going to know that the tool you're using is either shadowed or highlighted, because it's shadow or highlighted. And then over here, we're going to use the selection tool, and we're going to move this up. Okay? We're going to move this up to where it's right about, I like that right there. And that's it for today. All right? That's it for today. You're done. Congratulations. You guys rock. All right? We got 3 scoops of ice cream. We're going to be working with it again tomorrow. So what you need to do right at this moment, we got the 3 ready to go. We're going to hit Command S. We're going to save. Okay? Oh, let me see. The files mods. Let's go ahead and say yes. So, Command S. All right. There you go. So we have your 3 scoops of ice cream. Sorry about that. Something happened. So we've basically created the 3 scoops of ice cream, and you're done. Guys, great job. You can close up Illustrator, right? And you're done. And then you guys have the rest of the class period. If you have any time, hang out. Be cool. I'll see you tomorrow. This is Mr. Juarez. Over and out. Bye.